It is not just a great day to be a Monarch. It is an outstanding day to be a Monarch, Susan Montgomery, after Old Dominion women's basketball knocks off the defending Conference USA champions from Rice, 66-59, in overtime.
Well, yeah, we couldn't just win it in regulation. We had to do a little bit extra more in overtime. But what a fantastic basketball game between two really good teams. And tonight, Old Dominion played just a little bit better to come away with this win.
Two teams that don't give up a lot of open looks. They're two of the best teams nationally when it comes to scoring defense, field goal percentage defense, three-point percentage defense in particular, rebounding the basketball. What do you think was the biggest key for the Monarchs to get over the hump against the Owls tonight?
Well, I just think it was their transition offense. That's their basketball game, and Rice did not have an answer for that. I think they were 20-2 in transition, and when you can score that many points doing what you do best, that's a good opportunity that you're probably going to come away with a win.
Tight basketball game throughout. They were tied at halftime and obviously tied at the end of regulation, but early in the third quarter, Rice jumps out by 5. They've been outscoring Conference USA teams by nearly 8 a game in the third quarter alone. That's been a big part of why they've been able to get distance against many of the other contenders in this race this year. What was the difference for Old Dominion in terms of how they went about answering that early 5-point jettison there from the Owls?
Well, they didn't stop. They didn't quit. They kept coming back, and they knew that Rice was going to have some runs, but they knew they had to answer, and that's what they were able to do in the third, to keep it close and then come back and get it in front of them. But I think they did it with their defense. I felt like they played really good defense on Mulkey, their 6'9" post player. They played good defense on Wiggins. She never really was able to get into a rhythm in this basketball game, and I think that was the difference.
One other player who really struggled shooting the basketball and having to go out of her comfort zone to take it inside for much of the night was Victoria Morris. But when they needed a big three, she gave it to them not once, but twice. What proved to be the last basket from the floor for Old Dominion midway through the fourth, that made it 55-51, and then in overtime, helping to take a 4-point lead and stretch it out to 7.
Well, Coach McCray said so herself. She allows her shooters to shoot, and Victoria Morris struggled for the majority of this basketball game, but when she got her feet set and nobody in front of her, she was able to knock down 2 huge shots, and that really turned the tide for this Old Dominion team.
Monarchs might be one of the deepest teams, if not the deepest, in Conference USA this year. That's something we've seen along the trails as we nearly complete the cycle. How important was it, though, for this team to have the services of Asia Wayne back for the first time in 2 weeks?
Well, they've missed her, that's for sure. Asia can score in a number of ways. She makes baskets that seem impossible a lot of times, she and Taylor Edwards both, but they seem to find a way to make them. And tonight, she was able to make shots over Mulkey, getting into the paint, creating her own shot, and they really needed her to be able to score tonight, win the game.
Asia Wayne, the sophomore, fights off some early foul trouble to score 21 points to lead the Monarchs individually with 4 rebounds. She was joined in double figures by another double-double for Amari Young, as well as Taylor Edwards, 14 points, 5 boards, 3 assists. Young goes for 15 and 11 in addition to 2 steals. Talk about each of their play tonight.
Well, Taylor Edwards, again, she knows how to score. She can score. She scored the majority of her points in transition, which she is so good in transition. But Amari Young has just come into her own, it seems like. And that's 3 of the big 4 that Coach McCray talks about. They had tremendous games tonight. And anybody on this team, that's what's so good about this team. Anybody on this team tonight can come up big. And I think for this team, that's what sets them above everybody else.
Reigning Conference USA Player of the Year, Erica Ogwumike, and also reigning National Player of the Week, ends up going for 26 points and 18 rebounds. The 18 boards, a season high, 1 shy of a career high. But Rice sees not only an 11-game win streak come to an end, but a record in Conference USA, 30 consecutive games against Conference USA opponents. They had 1 in a row until tonight in Norfolk. So with that in mind, and the fact that now Old Dominion at 11-1, 21-3 overall, have the inside track on the Owls with 1 more meeting to come between those two, March 7th in Houston. What does tonight's win do for this program?
Well, I think it just gives them the confidence. They've had confidence, but to know that they can come in on their home floor and they beat the reigning Conference USA champions, I think that just propels them even more. I think you give this team a lot of credit for the way they came in and fought today and came out on top.
I'll tell you who else fought. You, Monarch Nation.
That's right.
2,732. It's the largest non-Education Day crowd to see a Nikki McRae-coached Old Dominion basketball team play here at Chartway Arena. And you saw a classic, an overtime classic, 66-59. We hope to see a lot of you and then some back here at Chartway Arena Saturday at 2 for the 18th annual Hoops for the Cure game when Old Dominion plays host to the North Texas Mean Green. Again, that's a 2 o'clock tip. Tickets available at whynottix.com, but be sure to follow us here at odusports.com for a number of promotions, specials, and all other ways that you can come here to see the Monarchs live after they move into a tie for first place. But again, get the inside track on Rice with a 7-point overtime win on Monarch Media.